Brass band plays, feet start to pound. We're going Toblerone, Toblerone. Anyways, we're level 55 and we're in Nightmare now. We got some explainsing to do because it's actually important. Alright, so we got to level 55. I've actually respec'd the character, and this is my second time trying to do this, but we'll talk about why in a little bit. So I respect, and I hope you guys are enjoying the fun new style of editing. Get the fuck away from me, Warrev. I'm trying to talk here. I don't need you following me. I don't need you getting on my ass. Leave me over here. Thanks. Stop. No, we're going to go over here where Warrev can't touch me. Okay, so I respect to 156 strength. I think this is being boosted by 1. Hang on 1 second. There we go. That's better. So I haven't touched Dex, and then the rest I put into Vitality. With our Nightmare res, our lowest is still Fire. And our Fissure damage is 1,145. And then our average for Volcano is almost 400. Firestorm I'm not even paying attention to. Alright, let's talk about what I didn't commit to. Alright, so we've already maxed out Fissure, and we're really close to maxing out Volcano. And I haven't put any extra points into Arctic Blast or Cyclone Armor. We'll talk about plus skills in a minute. And Firestorm is still not maxed. No shape-shifting, but I completely de-specced out of Poison Creeper. It was just a waste of my time. I know. I can never have a nice poison build. Maybe next year. We'll see. We'll see. I'm still not going to go with Grizzly, though, because it just doesn't seem to be worth it to me. I just want a kind of a pure experience here. So I was also looking into getting Armageddon, but I didn't realize you need to get Twister, Tornado, Hurricane, and then finally Armageddon for what is essentially just DOT, and I don't think it's worth it. But yeah, we're going to put, from this point on, first thing we're going to do is max out Volcano, which we only need, I think, 2 more levels. We'll get that relatively quickly with a level up and our Den of Evil quest. So that's pretty cool. And then we're going to go 1 point into Oak Sage, and then 1 point into Firestorm until Firestorm is maxed and Oak Sage is maxed, and then our dump stats are going to go into Cyclone Armor. So our overall gear, I crafted this lore. This is a really easy rune word to get pre-Nightmare. You can get soul runes from cows. I think that's where I got this one from. And then Ort runes are pretty much easy to cube up to. Spirit, and now you might be like, well, that's just bullshit. Well, there's also, don't forget, there's Spirit Swords and Spirit Shields. And the nearest shield you can make in normal, you can't do, unless I think it's a Paladin shield. I think it's Aaron shields. Can roll naturally up to 4 sockets, but don't take that to heart. I'm pretty sure they can't spawn unless you're playing Pally. But Spirit is Talthal or Am. We all know I have a massive hard-on for this. It's a really good caster item. And obviously these are not twinked in. None of these runes are particularly hard to get. I actually got every single one of these runes doing cow runs in normal Players 8. Rhyme. This is a pretty easy rune word to get, Shale Eth. This is just your... I mean, it's a pretty damn strong rune word. It's not the best rune word I could probably go with. But since we're doing this from scratch, a little bit different. The CBF is great, but I'm mainly using it for all res. And, of course, the mana regen on it. And the item find is nice. Still using Stealth, which hopefully I can get rid of pretty quickly, because it's really not cutting it. This is just an FCR amulet. It's probably one of the weakest parts of my gear right now. And these gloves are just dog shit. They're really just magic find and some res. That's about it. Same thing going on here. These are just some res. The light radius is really what I'm on about. And this ring is pretty much the same. It's just res. I'm not really worried about the magic find or reductions. So my jewelry and everything else is pretty much garbage. These are the same thing. These are just res and a little bit of red run walk. And of course the belt, same thing. It's just, the FHR is nice, but it's not, I'm just mainly using it because of the lightning res. No swap yet. And then of course I just have a bunch of res charms, really minor ones, and some, just a handful of life charms. This is probably the best charm. I don't know if I got this on camera or not. This is probably one of the best charms I've found. And then of course that walk run. And then of course if we look at our follower, he's using Worm Skull, Battle Branch, and just this shitty rare. He's going to get replaced as soon as we get to Nightmare. And of course, this is our stash. I have it set up to Classic Diablo 2. And I am so mad. I can probably show a picture of it from the scrapped thing. We'll talk about why in a little bit. I had this fucking ridiculous crystal sword. It was a rare crystal sword, ethereal. It had 2 sockets in it. It had like fucking ED on it. It was nuts. It wasn't particularly great as an item, but in terms of finding it, that's pretty nuts. And before you ask, how did I get this broadsword and where did I find it? So I had a naturally blank broadsword because I was looking at item bases that I can get in normal for a spirit, and either crystal sword or broadsword was going to be the best. And since broadsword I didn't need to put any stats into, I just used my Larzuk quest on it, and Larzuk will always give a 4 socket on this guy. So that's where that came from if you're curious. If I wanted to make a spirit shield, I'd need to do Nightmare Cows, and obviously I don't have that unlocked yet, so we can't do that, but we'll talk about that later. So this is old classic D2 grid, because I like to show off that I have played Diablo 2 at one point in time without Plugy. This is all I'd be keeping basically in some higher runes, but these are just some magic find items. They're really not anything useful. I was kind of keeping because I didn't know how things were going to go when I hit to normal to Nightmare, so I kept that just in case. There's our Leaf, an Ancient's Pledge. If you do not have a Shale Eth rune, which I don't know how the fuck you couldn't. So Rhyme, if we look at these just raw numbers, you get a guaranteed Ancient's Pledge, right? You get that when you do, I think, the Act 5 first quest, right? From Qualkek. So Ancient's Pledge is really good for melee characters because it gives you way higher resistances than Rhyme. You can see it's about 20% more. However, if I'm being honest, I still think Rhyme's a better shield. It's a little bit more expensive, and it's a pain in the ass to get a socket base for it that's half decent to start. But I think that the faster block rate and the res and the CBF as a melee character is huge. But this is also really good for casters. But you choose whichever you feel is personally good for you. My highest rune is this Dull rune. I found that on, I want to say, either Bale or one of Bale's minion waves. I'm not really quite sure. You see, it's tricky for me to remember because item level for runes is always 1, so I don't remember where I found it, and obviously didn't record that. But yeah, you can see all these runes I have already in these items. You can easily get. The Shale rune, I don't remember where I got those from. I want to say I cubed up to one of them, or I found it in Players 8 Cows. And of course, I just have the Gems tab growing, and some set stuff. Nothing really important. I haven't found anything good this year so far. Just your standard shit garbage. Nothing for Druid at all. Like, it's all just been garbage sets. And Kleeglaws was the first set we completed, by the way. So if you were like, which set is Seth gonna complete? It's always Kleeglaws, dude. It's always Kleeglaws. It's just how it works. Those are just some spare sets. I don't have any loot laying around. And if you guys are curious, what did I do to get to level 55? If you don't know, you can type in players in single player at least, not multiplayer. 1 to 8, and if you just say players 1, you guys have seen me do this before, I'm assuming, at this point. Hi, Zesty, how are you doing? We'll talk about you later. Anyways, so I was doing players 8 Bale, and I wasn't really killing Bale. I was just killing the minion packs before him because they have the best drops in normal, and every now and then I just do a quick follow-up with Shank and what's his name? Eldritch. So doing that is a really, really good way of getting a lot of XP in Players 8. And yeah, I guess we could show this off before I go, or get into it, because we're not going to stop. I've been doing some other stuff in the background while editing. I hope you guys are enjoying that. I like my editing style, don't you know? Oh yeah, by the way, Kleeglaws was last year's. I forgot to mention, Kleeglaws was the first fucking item, and there's our one and only death on this character. It was to Uber Diablo to remind us all what fucking killed this character. It was amazing. I've actually been doing some, like, off-camera stuff. I've been doing some Ondariel first to see what I can get from her. I just got these from, I think, my last session. And then I think... When the fuck did I do this? Okay. I think that was my 100 Countess video, I'm not quite sure. But, so yeah, I've been playing around with that in the background. I just want to show you guys what I do when I'm not actually recording. And then we can see I think I was going to make a kata for this character. We have Hodo on this character. I wanted to show you guys this, because I think you'd be like, Seth, you fucking insane person. Well, if you think I'm not an obsessive-compulsive lunatic, this is just an example of me doing Players 8, Lower Kuros. These are good examples of runes you can acquire from that. If you're ever like, oh, you can't really get good runes, yes you can. It's just very slow. And of course I have a few more things to show off as well. I've been playing on Mr. Goodbar, because he's got the best bar, don't we know? Because I think I haven't done Fat Drop Friday consistently, and we'll talk about why in a little bit. I've actually been doing, on this character, Mr. Goodbar, we've been doing, did I even show it? Why the fuck didn't I ID this? What the fuck is my problem? Anyways. Okay. I've been doing... I don't know why that shit's not ID'd. Anyways, this is actually all from Travincle. I've been clearing out Council every single kill. I got a nice set of Gore Riders right here. A little bit lower defense than these ones I've got now, but these are nice to have as a spare. I think I've got some pretty sick shit. I don't think I've ever seen an Alders before in my life. Absolutely garbage for a Druid. I didn't even know this was a Druid item, by the way, until I looked at it the other day. Fucking A. I still haven't been getting anything for Druid, and unfortunately I haven't been getting any really good runes. These are the only runes I've got from doing Travincle. I don't know what this shit is. Let's see what this is before we go. I know what this is, but we'll ID it, and I think this will fit. Yeah, let's see what this is. I have no idea. The fuck is this? The Vile Husk. I don't really give a shit. That's okay, that's not bad for, like... That's actually pretty good, I guess. Max damage, some bullshit I'm not even paying attention to. FCR. And Siverbs, of course. So yeah. And of course, I gotta show you guys this one thing. So... We all know how I talk about it, because people go, oh, you can't actually get high runes in this game. Yeah, what's this? That's that jaw rune I'm always talking about. That's an Ith rune. We all know what those are. But if you guys are ever curious, I haven't showed this off either. You guys never get to see the behind-the-scenes stuff I do, usually. By the way, this is a Monarch shield. I don't know if I mentioned that. I fucking finally crafted this, like, a while ago. Not recently, like a year ago. I don't think I've shown it yet. If you're like, oh, you cheated at it, it's item level 1. All crafted items are level 1, by the way. I socket punched this with a... I don't remember what the recipe is, but I probably have them laying around somewhere in here, but... yeah, we have the Dusk Shroud ready for that, and it's probably going to go on mounds, because I think it's probably more beneficial. But no twinking until Bale is dead. So let's get into it. So we gotta do it, by the way, every time.
I am a Kara.
Vroom vroom. Okay. So, and I fixed the running. I don't know if you guys have noticed it, but so Zesty slapped my alt key, which, if you don't know, keeps it on auto run. And yeah, that's why I've been running so much without like stopping. If you notice that little pip down there changing, that's why. All right, let's go do Den of Evil. So this is pretty much how I've been changing things around. I have my F key is now the like, what's it called? Yeah, I'm really tired, but I want to get this done with, you know what I mean? So I'm just getting into it. So F key is now our Heart of the Oak. What are they? Oak Sage. Jesus Christ, I don't even remember what it's called. And then I have X as my Cyclone Armor. And then I have B for basic bitch attack for Volcano. Look, I'm not really gonna lie. I'm a little disappointed in Volcano, but you know, if I had $1 for every time I've been disappointed by something in life, I think I'd probably have a number of dollars that's not quantifiable. So what I've been doing is pretty much just letting Fissure, because it has the shorter spell timer, go off. And then once Fissure goes off, like that, I'll just go like boom, once the skill timer is reset. And it's really not a bad system, as you can see. I've already got my timing pretty much down. It's very much not as bad as I thought it was honestly going to be. It's very good for dungeons in general. I've honestly been kicking ass doing clearing. But I've noticed Bale I think Bale has like a fucking shit zillion fire resistance, if you're ever curious. Which doesn't even shock me. I mean, so does Diablo. But, god damn, he just beats the it takes fucking forever. I still haven't died, if you're curious. I don't think I'm gonna die... Oh, knock on wood, right? Not up until at least I start hitting somewhere in like the... maybe early hell stages if I fuck around too much. But I definitely can say I'm used to the character by now. It's not particularly challenging. I don't think I'm having any issue with it. I'm actually enjoying playing this character. I still wouldn't say I'm sold on being a druid, because, you know, Halloween was invented by the Druish. And I'm not really saying it's particularly great, but I'm enjoying the way it plays. It's kind of... I wouldn't say that I'm gonna mind numb this character after a while, but that's just Diablo 2. Eventually your brain just shuts off playing it, so it doesn't shock me. This is where we're gonna start encountering a lot more fire immunes. So look at this though, fucking A, like, if you were like, okay, so where does this class really start to kick ass in? And maybe if you're a big fucking weird furry that likes to play druid, you've already been like scratching your head going, yeah, Seth's too stupid to realize how good this is for clearing out dungeons. Like, god damn, look at this. Like, you just cast like one thing and then you walk away, and then just shit just dies. It's absolutely ridiculous. I wouldn't call this broken, but I would definitely say I'm pleasantly surprised. Now, do I think I over-leveled the character? Maybe just a little bit. I could be wrong, but, you know, whatever. And so I've been thinking, what do I want for continued items moving forward? I still think our next best bet is to get String of Ears or Archon's Mesh. I think, you know, String of Ears is just such a solid belt on any character, but it is really good for casters because they have such low defense that a damage reduction modifier, it ain't too shabby, and I'm not going to say it's good or bad, but I definitely think it would help. Skins of the Viper Magi is certainly our secondary choice, obviously. What is it, the Wrap of K-Hagon or whatever his name is, Qui-Gon Jinn, that thing. That's probably our better option. Oh no, Ormus's Shroud, my mistake. Ormus's Shroud would be good because I think that's fire skills from memory. I could double check in editing if I'm paying attention right now. But I think that Ormus's Shroud is fire skills. I could easily just look at another character that has it, but I don't really feel like doing that because this is not what this is about. I'm so fucking tired and I want to get this done with today. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get all the way to the end of Act 3 at least. That's kind of my goal for this session today. I have some beverages next to me as I always do. I have some iced tea cooling off in the fridge. I have some fun to tell you. So I mentioned this is the second time I've tried redoing this video. It's because Zesty had a seizure the last time I did this. And I don't really like to talk about these kinds of things on the internet because it makes me feel like super insecure. Like, I don't like talking about my personal health, and I don't like talking about like things that are actually traumatizing to me. I mean, that's pretty obvious, right? But bottom line, his like epilepsy might just be exposure to a powder we use to kill fleas like a while back, so I'm kind of looking forward to that being the thing. But, you know, obviously a cat having a goddamn seizure in the middle of me talking was a little bit of a reason to not do that session, but he's totally fine now. So we're at 22, and we should be able to get a level up maybe by the end of this entire act. That's the hopeful thing. Probably just like, oh, Seth, you would have gotten it by now if you were fucking around. Because you're standing there fucking talking about fucking characters so people don't know what's going on. Fucking idiot. I think that never bothers me. Oh, what's this? It's Cathan's, by the way. I know exactly what that fucking item is. I don't even have to look at it. I know exactly what it is. But the good thing is, I think we are in a state where, number one, I can fucking not run everywhere anymore, which is nice. I think I'm getting to the point where I understand how to move as this character. And what I really want, and this is gonna go against my usual grain, I know it's gonna sound weird, I think this character would benefit from Enigma. And I could see this character being really good for magic finding because he's so goddamn tanky. Look at how much I haven't even fucking talked about it. Look at my fucking health value right now. It's 922. I don't know if you guys have noticed on those other characters, they're barely pushing over 1,000 and they're all the way in the 80s in hell difficulty. This is fucking Nightmare Act 1, goddammit. This is insane. I can't level with you enough of how just... That's fucking insane. I haven't even pointed it out really at all. Because I'm like, I kind of just don't believe it until something hits me. Now, I will say this. I think that the more we start putting into Heart of the Oak, because like I said, it's going to go, as soon as Volcano's max, it's going to go 1 into Hodo. I'm just going to call it Hodo because I'm lazy and fat. But it's going to go into, fucking hell, all these XP shrines. I should really bump the player difficulty up, but I don't really want to do that. I want to get this over with. So the... Oh, that's right, I can't be frozen. Fucking A. You guys thought, oh, so it's fucking lying, it's a fucking useless prod, or mod. No. It's always good. If you find a Ravenfrost, that's always a really good, I mean, actually, you can start getting Ravenfrosts and Skins of the Viper Magi right about now, at this point in the game. So, if you're like, oh, it can't be that good, CBF is great. I can't say it's a bad mod. I mean, you could sell for better mods, but I always think Cannot Be Frozen is such a big deal for melee characters that it's... Getting a rhyme early is probably your best bet. But I really think getting Enigma on this character would probably be a good idea because I can easily move with a faster cast rate. Because this is going to have, like, caster build, but I have the tankiness of, like, a melee character in terms of HP. Like I said, let it sink in. 922 HP. Ooh, what's this? Is this ethereal? Oh, maybe it's... I don't want Cathan's. I already know what that is. No, never mind. We're not picking Cathan's up. We don't want it. It's fucking garbage. I know if you're like, oh, Seth, that's actually a good, really good item. No. No, it's not. Actually, you want to know why I know that? Because we'll take it back with us if you don't believe me. We'll take it with us, alright? It's gonna be just sitting in my inventory looking at me, going to fucking identify me, figure out what I am. You don't know what I am. Look at me. I think I'm cool. I love how even with the volume down, I can still hear every noise in this game. It's disgusting. I can separate me playing the game while editing footage of it at different volume levels and still tell what's going on. That is so fucking depressing, I know. But it's true. So, for end-to-end game, I wouldn't probably use the Enigma on this character. I'd rather get another one. And you're probably like, oh, fucking big boy over here with his fucking double Enigma. Who's he think he is? Fucking Bill Gates? It's like, no. I'm saying that because once you get your initial one, now this is gonna sound controversial, but I never have the fucking patience to... See, this is where this starts to suck, is enemies that are mobile, this character is really bad at dealing with. So... what I'm trying to think of is... I would like to use mounds to get that first, because I can kill bosses so fucking fast with that character, it's unbelievable. If you don't know how fast Javazons can kill, like, everything... Uh-oh. So this is our first... Alright, how is this gonna handle it? I mean, that was a pretty weak-ass enemy, but you know what I mean. This is where we're gonna start seeing fire immunes, and we're gonna have to be a little bit more selective. I think that the chances in general of getting a fire and physical immune are so astronomically low. There's like one possibility I can think of is Desace in Chaos Sanctuary might roll dual immunity to physical and fire, because I believe he's always immune to fire, like that's his guaranteed first mod. I don't know, that could possibly happen. The likelihood of it, though, is so fucking rare. Because, let's be real, immune to magic and immune to physical are the two rarest modifiers in the entire game. And it's like, you're more likely gonna run into, like, fire and poison, which was another reason I kind of said, okay, maybe Poison Creeper isn't gonna really carry me. Because, like I was saying earlier on in the very beginning of this startup, I was like, look, everybody knows you're not as good as a real summoner, and you're not as good as a sorceress. So you need to pick your battles, choose your build wisely. I mean, but I do have the ability to kind of fuck around and... Is that a smoke spear? Oh, it's a spike shield. I have, like... So I actually forgot to mention, I moved all my furniture in the bedroom, so the entire room is different now. It's nice, there's a lot more room, and I moved my drum set so I don't have to keep collapsing it, and I can not go fucking crazy making micro... If you own any set of drums, you know exactly the fucking, like, millimeter of difference that, like, makes a huge difference to your muscle memory kind of shit. But anyways, so everything feels weird. The bed's behind me now instead of to my side, and so my eyes keep thinking, oh wow, there's a big dead space there. Oh wow, Zesty's licking his ballless taint on my bed. Thanks, Zesty, you're great. So alright, but anyways, the things I'm thinking, what is going to be the biggest roadblocks for us coming up? It's going to be probably Bale. I don't think that until I get some at least fire piercing, maybe even ignores defense, or I give the mercenary something like a amp damage charge weapon. I don't really think there's anything like that. I really want to get meditation. Meditation aura is great, but concentration, I think? No, it's not concentration. It's I get it every fucking year because I'm lazy and stupid. I'll look at it later, but it's the negative enemy fire resistance modifier. It's a really good early game... Oh my god, what the fuck is it called? You see, Seth doesn't know everything about Diablo 2. He doesn't know all the rune words. What a fucking pleb. He doesn't know what he's talking about. His information's clearly copied from the wikis. That's not true. I don't touch any of that shit. Man, my favorite Diablo wiki's dying anyways. It's the .net one. I use that more than anything. I use that, Mr. Llama, and Icy Veins. Those are like the only sources I ever look at anything for. If I'm like really desperate for like, I need to know this. I think there's a store website, like a probably back alley thing, but they have all the eye levels. I use Silo's pen as well quite a bit. If you guys have never used Silo's pen, that's how you can determine the best areas to get certain items in. It's a really handy website. I always recommend it. I think it's in the description of every video I use too, but I'm not sure. I don't know if you guys know this if you're brand new to my channel, but I have reviewed an Amazon statue by Diddlon Studios. It's on my desk, right next to me. Let's see if I can make the magic happen. Right. This is actually really easy to edit in. Hey Seth, sync up the audio. It's right here. It's right next to my desk everywhere. Okay, now you guys can see behind the scenes stuff. And I reset the computer recently, so the colors are all off. But, yeah, I did a review on this, was it last year? Or the year before? Zesty's broken the fingers off, and I need to put 2 of these back on. But, I don't have it plugged in because I'm just too lazy. But if you guys have never seen this, I did an entire review on this as well. There's Zesty. You gonna roll over? Okay. But yeah, you can see I moved all the stuff over, so that was so much editing work. Now you guys know I have fucked up nails. Anyways, slopception. I don't know what that... I don't know. Clippy's telling me slopception on the YouTubes. Oh, I need to take fucking inventory away. How many of you guys knew I had painted nails? Are you a real fan? I don't know. Maybe you didn't know I did that. I did change my profile picture very recently. I was trying to make a parody of, like, this is a Christmas picture because it has Christmas lights in the background, but I was too lazy. And I like black and white better because I like chiaroscuro. That's, like, the only art style I'm really into and actually semi-good at is chiaroscuro photography and stuff. If you don't know what that is, that's fine. It's not that exciting anyways. It means you're lazy. That's what it means. Anyways. Yeah, so I moved everything, and it's all weird. If you guys are like, oh, Seth's bedroom is probably full of Gooner garbage and, like, Mountain Dew cans. No. I always say this. I don't have a very exciting living quarters. I'm not a very exciting person. If you're like, what was that poster of the fish thing? It was a thing from my old job. We had this... like monthly thing I had to be in charge of, and I put up safety posters as part of my job for every quarter. Alright, there's Treewood. Let's see what he's gonna get. Oh, he just gets whatever. Cool, he's dead. I didn't even have to look at him, he's just dead. That's important to know. Alright, let's get this fucking piece of paper to Mara. Akara, fucking hell. Anyways, that's what that fish... It says keep your liquids contained so you don't feel the pain. And I normally I just threw them away every quarter, but I thought that was so fucking funny. Or sorry, it was every month I did safety meetings. But anyways, I just thought it was really funny, so I kept that one because it just seems like the most fake looking one ever. And if you're like, oh, I'm gonna glance at Seth's room and take apart all the little details. Let me see if I can... Yeah, there's not really anything that I show that was not stuff I've already shown before. That is an All Hope Is Gone poster. It's the only band poster. I've had that poster since it came out, like whenever All Hope Is Gone came out. I've just had that poster forever. It's went with me from like 3 different places I've lived. I have a very boring house. Well, I'm a renter, actually. Not a house, either. It's an apartment, you fucking liar! When will the lies end? You're probably just like, wow, it's surprisingly clean. It's like, yeah, I wasn't kidding. I'm not a fucking gooner slob. I don't know what people's assumptions of my living conditions are, but they're pretty normal. I don't mean to sound like I'm breaking anyone's heart here, but I'm not a very exciting person. I remember I had an HR meeting about like an incident years ago, and I just moved and I had no decorations up, and it was within literally like 3 weeks of moving, so I didn't have any of my decorations up. I like how you could probably see that, all that decoration, and be like, that's all you have is decorations? Yeah, I'm a very minimalist person. I'm really sorry to burst the mystique. We need to go back to town. God damn it. We don't even have Kane yet. Fuck. Alright, now I actually have to try.
Good evening.
I have to really pay attention now. God damn it. Anyways, let's put these guys over here for like 2 seconds. And I'm gonna forget it's there, but it doesn't matter. It's there, and I'm gonna forget all about it. But, and then like the woman I was talking to was like constantly talking about how my room was too clean looking, and she'd be like, it's Seth in his very clean room, and I was like, wow, way to make me feel fucking awkward. It was very uncomfortable because it made me feel like a fucking serial killer or something. Like, I don't have a very, like, live, laugh, love, this is our household kind of thing. I like candles. There's a lot of candles downstairs, and I have the Christmas stuff up. But that's not really anything you need to be privy to, because Jesus Christ, it's 2025. You can't tell people you celebrate Christmas. You'll get fucking crucified. We need to go to Stonyfield. That's right. We haven't even looked at anything. But I'm just like, yeah, I get really uneased by people with like the live, laugh, love and the platitude fucking posters and pillows and everything looks like fucking serial killers live there, because it's so... There's this video series that this one dude made, like, around the TikTok, like, spawning. He's like a comedian, like a non-binary comedian. You probably know exactly what I'm talking about when I say this, but he got really big on Vine. Or I don't really know. Don't be like, you fucking don't know? No, fucking, I don't know, and I don't really care, because I'm not meaning it in an insensitive way by not remembering a person from, like, almost a decade and a half ago. I did the fucking... Oh, you can do that without it? Oh, cool, great. I don't need to go back. That's perfect. But they have a video of, like, it's, it's like what it's like when your friends come over or whatever and you're a kid, and then it's just like this mom screaming, this house must look like nobody lives in it! Like, those kinds of people give me the fucking willies. Like, yeah, I straighten stuff out when, like, I know someone's gonna come over, because it's just, I don't know, but, like, not every time. I always just keep the house, like, clean, and I do weekly and daily chores, like dishes, and after I break this video, I'm gonna go move laundry over, and... Yeah, I don't live a very exciting life. It's 8:20. Hey guys, did you know I got off work a while ago and it's really late? I have to start pointing that out more so I can laugh at it. But, Jesus, you can see what I mean? Like, bossing is not this character's strong suit. It's a little bit slow for now, but, oh, Jesus, I should really go back in town. I really should. I'm just too lazy. But I don't know. I like when people live in a house that looks like it's lived in. You know what I mean? Not like they've abandoned all hope and they've gotten hit by a meteor and they're just dead under the floorboards, taken over by... I think maybe I'm elaborating a little bit too much here, but you get the idea. That kind of stuff gives me the willies. Because it makes me feel like it's all performative, which, let's be real, 99% of decorations to appeal to strangers is the definition of performative. But our apartment's very decorated and, like, very... I wouldn't call it minimalist, but it's definitely, like, the pleasing level of decoration that's... Like, I have puzzles I've done and my roommate have done, and I have them, like, up on the walls. I've done the whole thing where you put them on poster board and then you laminate them with, like, glue, and then you... It's really fun. I give it a shot. It's really nice. Finally, we can ID our fucking items. Holy shit. The scrolls... I told you it was Cathan's. I wasn't lying, guys. What do you know? What do you know? Seth knows the thing about this game, I do say. But yeah, I always say we have, like, a pretty... I like when people say it's cozy. That makes me feel happy. I'm like, yeah, I like to think we live in a very cozy little... Wait. Oh, fuck that then. Never mind. Cold res, lightning res. I need more fire. Ooh, this is both. I mean, that does have magic find on it, but this is just inherently better. And I'm not really losing sleep, but I'll put it over here as part of the magic finding gear. But, yeah, I don't know. It's that thing of, like, when people... Oh, why am I fucking going back here? God damn it. It's just that weird performative, like, thing where... No, I can't talk about it. I'll talk about it in real life, but I won't talk about it on here, because it'll make... My dad might watch it and go, I'm sorry. And then his wife will get mad, so I'm not going to say anything. I'll just keep it that, right? Dad, if you're watching this, you probably know what I'm talking about, so I'll just shut the fuck up. But I don't know. I don't really judge people on their home. Like, if I go in their house or whatever. I'm not really... okay, let's be real. I've dated a hoarder. I know, like, a genuine problem when I see it. But that's a different story, and I don't really like to talk about it. It's extremely uncomfortable. I like when people go, oh, I have like 5 pounds of cheese in my fridge. I'm a hoarder. Ah! I'm like, no, you're not. That's not funny. Like, it's like when people say I'm OCD about my toenails. It's like, don't say you're a fucking disorder about your toenails. Just say you're really acute about something. You don't have fucking obsessive compulsive disorder. It's just fucking annoying. It drives me. It's not even the fact that I have OCD. I have OCPD, by the way, which is slightly different, but equally as shitty, if not more shitty, because it affects everything you do. But it's like, yeah, like when people are like, oh, I'm OCD about my groceries. It's like, or you just like to have things organized. Okay, let's not try and make ourselves sound fucking fancy here, because you ain't. It's not fun and quirky to have fucking mental illnesses. I just like to point this out. I think most people realize this by now, I hope. I would think that way even if I've thought that way even before I was diagnosed with OCD and shit. Like, it fucking drives me insane. I don't even like when people say, I get anxiety by. It's like, just say you're anxious, because if you say you get anxiety by, it's way too many syllables and it sounds weird. And that's an obsessive compulsive thought. Like, you're like, that is so fucking dumb. Why is this person saying such a stupid fucking thing? Do they really think they're the entire disorder themselves? What are they, stupid? If you're like, that can't really honestly be... No, that's 100% how it works. Most people with this kind of a disorder, it's really shitty. I wish I was the kind that, like, straightened things out to the nth degree to where everything looks disturbing, but I'm really not like that. I don't think I've ever met a single person with that level of, like, organizational obsessive compulsive disorder. I know it exists, it's real, it comes from... That stereotype comes from reality, but it's like... I have no idea. I've never met a single person that fit that profile. I'm sure I'm just... Maybe you're like, oh, well, I know 55 people who have this, so you're just fucking stupid. I concede that, probably, but... I don't know, that's like that whole thing of like when people try to shit on Americans for not liking Japanese culture and shit. It's like, oh, well, maybe not where you're at. You don't have this. It's like, or maybe that just everyone has a different opinion and has a different idea. You fucking weebs. Oh my god. Maybe I'm projecting. I don't know. I'm not really sure. I'm in a weird state. My day was fine. It just ended really shitty at work. Everything else was fine. Like, man, we're fucking hitting all the good luck with these maps today. God damn, god damn! That makes my life a lot easier. We actually don't even need to level up. We could just do Radamant and we'll have our Volcano maxed. And then I think Volcano is 100% damage capped after this. I'm pretty sure. We'll check once we get there because I'm too lazy to check right now. I was going to check as a clever joke, but I'm like, well, no. So she's going to be immune to fire, so this is going to have to come down to Volcano coming in clutch. Alright, baby, come on. Get that shit. Yeah, she's not fire immune yet, but she is fire immune at the end. I know that for a fucking fact. I've had too many characters get stuck here in terms of, like, grinding because of that fucking immunity, and it's so annoying. Ooh, that's... I don't remember what that is, actually. Let's go check. And let's check this as well. Oh, no, 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 no. It comes from Fissure as well. Oh, wait a minute. I read that wrong. Fissure is maxed, and I'm never going to put points into Armageddon or Molten Boulder, so... Yeah, 340 is going to be the last cap for that without plus skill gear. That's a little weak, but you're weak. So, is this the Necro one? Oh no, it's Iratha's. I'm thinking of fucking Median. Oops. And then we'll just fucking send it right now. We'll fucking doing it with Panther K. Roar, roar, yeah, roar. Show Shao Kahn. We're gonna do it with Panther K. You're gonna be the Mortal Kombat champion, whoever the fuck you are. Never doubt my ability to quote AVGN. Oh, actually, I want that belt. Because that might be a half-decent. AVGN or Mr. G-Star 321. It's disgusting. And King of the Hill. Those are like the... I like how one of those is actually a TV show and the others are just internet celebrities, but you know what I mean. It's embarrassing. That is... I don't remember... Oh, it's the X-Men episode. NES X-Men, NES X-Men, NES X-Men. And I said, what's wrong with being sexy? No, I didn't really say that. But it got me thinking, what's wrong with X-People? I guess it just doesn't sound as good. It's the part... I can tell you exactly where I get that it's embarrassing thing from. It's the part where he's talking about... Would you rather play as this... Okay, let's see if I can remember the entire quote while doing fucking Diablo 2 half awake. Here we go! Sorry. Here we go! Let's Tomoe Highland! Of course I like Ordinary Sausage, what the fuck? I watch LA Beast and Steve MRE 1985. Of fucking course I watch Ordinary Sausage. Anyways. Let's see if I can remember the episode, and I'm gonna look up a transcript of it maybe in editing, and see how fucking close I got. And how the fuck am I frozen as a character named Iceman? Anyways, no, that I just remember that quote. But anyways, let's see if I can get it close. Would you rather... Look at this. It's embarrassing. Would you rather play as a character that shoots or one that goes around nudging? Look at it. It's embarrassing. I think that's the quote. Maybe in editing I'm just going to rewatch that episode because it's really funny. It's probably one of my favorite AVGN episodes. If you're ever curious what are my faves, number one is Action 52. Surprisingly, Paperboy. I love that one. The Grim Reaper's in town. That's not good. That is the only modern AVGN episode I went, this is so fucking funny, because I love Paperboy. And I'm like, it's not that hard. And that's what makes it such a funny episode, because it's so goddamn genuine. I love it. It's so funny. The Grim Reaper's in town. Daily douchebags. I love Paperboy. It's one of my favorite arcade games. I've played it every chance I get when I go into arcades. I fucking love it. And I have it on XBLA when I used to be a 360 scrub. I fucking love Paper. My dad's the one that got me into that fucking game. Bones! No, you won't. Oh, my coworker, he got me into the band Gulch. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of them. That's the greatest band I didn't know I needed to listen to, and I don't even like hardcore. I was fucking mind blown after that shit. And then I was really depressed. They only have like, what, 15-minute EP, and then like, what, no, it's one LP that's like 15 minutes, and then there's like 2 EPs. Look up, Gruel for the Beast by Gulch. I'll put a picture of it up in editing. Fuck the AVGN quote, Seth. That's what you should show. Show that fucking video, and so everyone can see it and listen to it, and you'll be like, I thought you don't like hardcore that much. I don't. But goddamn, that was some seriously fucking wicked shit. Just listen to that EP. Like, it's 2 songs, I'm pretty sure. It's like Ecstasy and something, Ecstatic Screams of something, and it's... If you like black metal, goddamn, that's gonna tickle you right in the good stuff. You're gonna be like, wow, this sounds a lot like this, and it's really, wow, it tickled my fucking taint hairs. It was awesome. Because that's how he recommended, like, oh, if you like black metal so much, because most people at work that listen to music like I do, like 2 people of like dozens I work with, but like they don't like black metal, and I can explain why. Somebody at some point in time handed them some early Burzum, and that's a rough thing to get somebody into for first wave black metal. That's rough. I like it. I know that's probably like a hypocritical thing to be like, why? And it's like, I just like that rough sound and that weird droning and the just sound of the fucking fuzz pedal. It's so comforting. It's just, and like the synth tracks and shit, it's just, I love it. I think Philosophum's a great album, but I really like Burzum's first album the most. And maybe Asuka is really good as well. I like both. I like pretty much all the early work by Burzum is really good. But I think personally, if you want an introductory to first wave black metal, you cannot beat the classics. I can recommend, I'll show them up on screen so you can know what to look for. Was it Vilkensgrad or whatever it is by Enslaved, which I believe is their first album. That is like beginner, easy mode. I can understand why this is good music. It's not super abrasive vocally. I mean, it's still black metal vocals, so if you don't like that, you're not going to like it. It's in Norwegian, if I'm not mistaken. So that, I know some people don't like to listen to music in different languages. I personally do not care. Because to me, music is... Well, okay, lyrics and music to me are 2 things. Either extremely emotionally investing pieces of poetry in motion, or an extra secondary instrument, which I usually kind of look at them as in the beginning. But like, I think Vilkensgrad, or Vikensgrad, I can't remember what it's called, but it's their first album. Like I said, I'll show a picture of that. That's a good introductory one. Under the Sign of the Dark Mark? That by Bathory? I might have gotten it wrong. I'm really fucking tired, so please forgive me if I got one word incorrect. That's my personal favorite Bathory album and my personal favorite Bathory album in general. So it's like, if you want to get a little more experimental with Bathory, maybe try, like, if you're not comfortable with that, like, I'd say Blood, Fire, Death. If you're like, well, I want something a little bit more refined, Blood, Fire, Death is really good. If you want to go modern, you cannot, honestly. Everyone's gonna say fucking shill piece of shit, and I don't really care. Real Batushka's first album is fucking incredible. That is the album that got me into the genre. Pesny, what is it? It means Songs of Death in Russian. It's Path's first album, not their LPs, or sorry, EPs. Their first actual album, because War Within is like a 2-track album or 1-track. I can't remember which, and it's actually got no vocals, and it's free on not SoundCloud, but Bandcamp, if I remember correctly. I'll put up a picture of it if I can find it. War from Within. And then, but their first real album, like full LP, Death Songs, is fucking awesome. That was another album that got me into the genre. That is more of a modern-y sound, though, and some people are like, oh, if it doesn't sound like shit, it's not good. It's like, well, I understand that. But that's a very polished, like, quality production with really good melodies in it. And it's not it's not super abrasive. It almost has deathy qualities to it. If you like death metal, I recommend that one. So that one's on screen if I haven't already shown it already. I could be a baby and say Blaze of the Northern Sky. That's the second album by Dark Throne. It's a good album. I really like it as much as most people that like the early stuff do. You see, I'm not as familiar with all of Mayhem. I like early Mayhem, but Mysterious to Satanas is really good. It's Babies First. It's probably, if I'm being honest, if there was ever an album to only have one genre of music per album, that would probably be my choice, because it's so good. But if you want something that sounds like that but a little bit more technical, and you don't want to go really old, Frost by Enslaved is really fucking close to that sound. It does have some tracks in there that are a little bit more atmospheric and synthy, but it's still really fucking brutal and fast and atmospheric and just synthy, and it's got a lot of fun. The intro track Loki is really good if you just want to hear one song off of an album. On Enslaved's Frost is really good. I have a little bit of bias. I think Black Braid is really good. River of Time Flows Through Me is a really good single if you want to try an American black metal band that doesn't sound like absolute dog water. I'm not trying to rip on it, but I don't listen to a lot of new stuff. I listen to a lot of like smaller underground bands, you know, real fucking hardcore shit. You never heard of it probably. There's a few channels I follow that have upcoming guys I like to listen to every now and then. I'm trying to think of... I've never really gotten into Immortal that much. They're great. They're actually really creative as far as black metal goes, because they started off kind of in the classic, ooh, spooky, scary Satan phase. But then they made their own mythology, and their music's about that. So I think that's a little bit more fun, and they're all pretty down-to-earth guys outside of it. They didn't kill anybody. That's probably a reason most people go, oh, they're not real fucking black metal. They are kind of more close to power metal if you want more of a... I can't really explain, like... I haven't listened to enough Immortal personally, because I think that I don't like power metal as much as other genres of submetals. Look, I mean, it's all just fucking guitar and drums and singing, but whatever. There is a difference. If you're like, oh, is it really? Fucking yes. There's a big... I don't know why everyone gets so caught up on this about heavy metal having like 50 different subgenres. Every fucking genre of music, aside from like probably country, has at least a dozen or so different like subgenres. But you can type in... I'm pretty damn sure the first thing if you type in black metal into YouTube is going to come up with All Shall Fall by Immortal. I'm pretty sure comes up first. I mean, I've seen the music video. It's pretty goofy, but it's still really cool. But then if you really get into those kinds of things, you might, I'd say, work backwards when it comes to black metal. But you could also start modern and then go back. But if you like modern... You might like older, because sometimes that's the opposite. I personally don't like a lot of modern metal, not out of like some purist asshole, it's not fucking real enough. Like, it's just my taste. Like, I used to really have this thing for power metal, and I blame fucking Dragon Force and Guitar Hero and shit for this, but it's true. I used to really be into power metal, and then I just kind of grew out of it. It's the only genre of metal I've ever actually grown out of. And I can't say I dislike it personally. It's just not like I don't find it as interesting anymore. I think it's because once you start learning how to make music, it becomes a lot less magical. You know what I mean? It's a real fucking shame. It really is. But this guy is a piece of shit. I know he's firing me, and let's see how I deal with him. All right, boys. All right, boy, toys. Book him away, toys. Okay, that was probably really underwhelming, but whatever. He had a shitload of cold damage when he died, though. So, but yeah, I like to sometimes... I love modern music in metal to an extent. I don't like overly technical stuff. Like, I'm not really a fan of, like, technical, like, death metal and... by the way, that does not mean I hate it. That does not mean I think it's bad. It's just I don't personally go out and look for it. Like, I like my music to sound a little bit rough because I'm an atmospheric musician. If you're like, well, you just don't know what quality sounds like. It's like, okay. But the other thing is I like that lo-fi sound because I've been to like at least over fucking 24 local shows that if you've been there, you've been there, but you know the sound. It's that just, you're in a small room with probably way too many fucking people and everything just bounces off of the walls and just, it's this very bizarre, it's probably not good for your hearing, to be honest, but that sound of like bad percussion. There's a really funny, oh, we got Ratmen, cool. I didn't hardly notice that. I barely saw them. They're rare. They're the rarest mod variant down here. But yeah, there's a video going around by a meme channel that's called something like generic metal recorded like shit or something like that. I don't remember what it's called. Maybe I'll show it in editing if I'm actually paying attention at all. And to me, I actually kind of like that sound. It's not good. It's not bad either, but it's like that sound is like super comforting to me because if you've ever had like metal friends, you know, the cool guys like me, and you just hang out and just like listen to fucking super loud music in the background and then you just do whatever and or you're like working on a car or like something outside and you just have it playing in the background, or if you've ever been to a larger scale arena or venue and you have like different bands playing at different times and you just kind of hear, I guess a good way to describe it is if you've ever played Guitar Hero 2 and 3, I know for a fact, or actually I think it was starting in 3, maybe it was 2, I can't remember, but no, it was in 2. No, it was 3. So in Guitar Hero 3 and onward, I'm pretty sure, and in Rock Band maybe, you could, they had that sort of effect where like on the main menus, you'll just hear stuff in the background, like kind of just muffled or just out of like earshot almost, and it has this very distinctive sound. That is a very close representation as to why I like lo-fi music, because it makes me think of being in the room while it's being made or played, and to me that is so comfortable, because usually when I'm practicing or warming up, when I'm actually going to do some recording of any instrument in general, I like to have it unplugged first to get like an idea of how the sound's going to travel throughout the room. And I try to mix my audio in a way where it's not so crisp that it's, I mean, you can just easily listen to any of the recent, more polished music I've actually worked on, and you can immediately see what I'm talking about. I don't like to get this, you know, it's a good example, I've talked about this before too, is if you've ever watched a TV show like King of the Hill, this is, I'd say Family Guy as well comes up. Look at older Family Guy audio compared to modern. There's like no impurity, and it just sounds clinical, and I fucking hate it. It's just, I'm not saying they should record it with a fucking Etch-a-Sketch. I'm talking about like, there is, in my opinion, and I'm not the only one that thinks this way, which makes me know I'm not a complete psycho, there is something as being, it's almost like hyper-realism or like photorealism, you know what I mean? Like really bad AI or like Uncanny Valley shit or like rough CG. Like something can look too clean or like something is missing. And I think that also is translatable to audio. And if something sounds too clean, like I use it's a really probably a bootleg program, but it came free with my my synthesizer. But I use MPC Beats that has a really nice DAW in it. It's really not hard to use. I mean, most I don't mean to sound cocky, but I've been working on music since I was like a teenager. I know how to write music on a computer or synth, but it's a very simple program, but you can see immediately if you've ever listened to a lot of my other synth work I've made, it's very easy to get something too clean. And I don't want to make stuff that sounds too clean because I personally don't like stuff that sounds too clean. If you want an example of music I've done that I did this effect with, where it wasn't shoddy recording, it was like filtering and intentional like processing I did on the actual like bass recording, like with a like my BP 355. I don't know the name off the top of my head because I'm doing this, and it's now 9 o'clock almost. My music I did for my Begotten OST, you can look up. Oh no, shameless plug, my own work that I'm assuming you listened to already or have seen. That bass tone, or you might not even know this, but I don't actually have an electric guitar as of right this minute. I just have a very specific bass tone I've worked on over the years on my processor, and it's basically just a shitload of redline distortion, and I usually use an active pickup bass, so usually my Ibanez GSR 200, and then I have an overdrive on it, and like, I don't remember I've made the effect years ago, it's why I do not remember how I can tell you what it is. And then I have like a low pass filter envelope on it, so it sounds really like, it's just, maybe I'll play it, that might be a lot easier. And I'll leave in, obviously the hardest part with recording bass and drums, like, I don't record analog, Jesus God no, I won't do that ever again, that was fucking hell. But like, there's always the possibility of clipping the audio really easily. Like I have a Behringer set up for my drums that I can see the levels and the decibels while I'm working on it. Like, not looking at the actual DAW, I can just see it, like on the like the equalizer on the board. You can easily tell when something's blowing out. But I think it was called Snake Charmer. It's the song, I'm just not going to bother putting it in because it's pointless. But like, I've used things like tricks of lo-fi editing where I've used things like clipping to create an extra sonic layer, and it does work. Another example of just weird shit you can do is I like when you can tell how something was made. I mean, the easiest thing you can do, and this is my little spoilerino, by the way, for anybody who's ever interested in how I make music or anything in music creation as a whole. The easiest trick that will always work, just pitch shift the audio, dude. If you want a trick to make your drum sound beefier, double up your drum layer and then lower the decibel on one or the other, and you will create a naturally higher or lower drum sound, or whatever you're trying to do. If you want to make big, scary, cool techno drums, or like dark synth techno drums that just fucking pierce the ears, look up my song Cage for Them, and you can see exactly how I did it. And I can tell you exactly how I did it. The drums for that are, and then it's like using it's like a synthetic tech bass drum, and then I used another separate layer using the same pattern, but I think I played it at I played it at a lower velocity, so it would create like a scoop in the audio. Like, there's a lot of little tricks you can do like that. I always say it's... Then again, I feel like an asshole when I talk about making music, because number one, I can't read sheet music. Number two, I don't make anything that's really particularly what I would classify as interesting. It's interesting to me and a handful of people I know, and that's why I like it. It still would fall into the category of like dub. I was heavily inspired by dub, and like, I mean, I'm gonna sound like a hack, but I always say it's definitely gonna be Aphex Twin. Anybody who's probably ever touched a synthesizer ever is gonna say what exactly I just said, which is I was inspired by Aphex Twin, and ain't that the truth? We all really are. I love Aphex Twin. I don't listen to it nearly enough. I don't listen to a whole hell of a lot of oh, fuck off. Get out of here. I don't listen to a whole hell of a lot of EDM like I used to. But I definitely, you know, I don't know. Everyone has their jumping in and jumping off points. Like, I can easily show it. You know, what the hell? I've done this before. If you ever watch Fat Drop Friday, let's do this right quick. We're an hour and 10 minutes in. I can tell you guys a little spoilerino. All right, little spoiler. Okay, so I'm gonna use a Velvet standalone. I just plugged in my M Audio Oxygen Pro Mini. You guys can see that, I'm pretty sure, right here. This is my. I haven't fucked around too much with this, but. Yeah, like that's just an example of like being lazy, you know. Oh no, I closed the Diablo. What have I done? God damn you. Now I'm all sad. Quick, open up hybrid. And I don't care if it's playing out the speaker. I don't care. You need to hear this. It's important. You want to hear some fucking nasty shit? I'm pretty sure the actual audio is fucked, but oh well. Actually, I really want to show this off. Hang on a second, you gotta hear this. Like, that's just an example of, like, sequencing you can always do. I don't know why I'm showing you the behind the scenes, but if you want to get fancy with a sequencer, you can always just have a random sequence, and then you can latch it, like this, and just hold down a key, like... And then you can get fucking fiddly-diddly with, like, your mod wheel and cheese it. And then you can push things like your depth gauge. And then when you want to get fancy, you set it back to step sequence. And then you want to get the build up to a breakdown back in by pushing your depth value. And then if you want to get really lazy, you can just like start pitch shifting it. And then you could start to slowly, you could easily just turn it, you know what I mean? It's not really as hard as it seems to be to make music. It all just depends on your creativity. Where's my Diablo? This isn't Diablo, Seth, you lying piece of shit.